When we left off in the last episode, I managed to pull an Elder Chaos Hood from the Chaos Druids in level 13 Wilderness at the Chaos Altar, but then shortly after I decided that I really wanted to go for a Fire Cape. I decided that since Corp is my long-term goal, getting a Fire Cape this early in would be not only a decent achievement, but it would add a little bit of style to the setup. So I instantly decided to set out, start working on some tasks, and do whatever I needed to do in order to get Fire Cape ready. That included getting a ton of upgrades and items, and also making sure that I had enough prayer pots to start this off. So, in order to do that, we have a lot of grinding to do. Now let's just jump right into it. Usually when you go for a Fire Cape, you would use a combination of Ceridome Improves and Super Restores, but since both of those items are very difficult to get this early into the Trailblazer League, I decided to just do everything in my power in order to get a satisfactory amount of prayer potions. So I started off by getting some red spider eggs and just grinding out Herblore at Chaos Druids so that I had the level to create the potions itself. There we go, 35 Herblore is done. On top of that, we do get a plus 12 boost from my Skilling Prodigy relic, so we are more than ready to get these Peapots. Now that potions are covered, I want to start grinding out the Crazy Archaeologist. It's definitely the best upgrades early game. We can get a rune crossbow here, a power ammy, and even a red dragonhide body. I ended up running out of death runes, so in order to buy more, I decided to go to Revs and hopefully we can make some cash. First Revenant goes down, and we got 15 manta rays. Not too bad. Those are basically the best food you can get. I switched over from killing the Revenant Pyrofiend and went for the Revenant Hobgoblins instead. They actually have a better drop rate, and as you can see, we pulled our very first Bracelet of Ethereum here, and instead of alching it, I decided to use it to try and kill other Revenants in some of the higher levels for a chance of making even more money. Now that we have a Bracelet of Ethereum, we can take down higher level Revs. These guys here have way better drop rates, and as you can see, we got the Revenant Cyclops for a rune plate body on the very first kill. That there alone is another 40k alch. We got 54 defense on this Revenant Demon. I decided to go with these guys instead of the Cyclops after all. They have 30 less hit points, and on top of that, their drops are more common. Now that we're done with our first Revs trip, I wasn't even there for too long, and already we managed to pull about 150k worth of alchables, so with that money, we can go back to the Crazy Archaeologist and try and get these items. First trip back to the Crazy Archaeologist, and we pulled a Malediction Shard on 7kc. This is actually a really good drop, but I can't use it unless I get the other two shards from Scorpia and the Chaos Fanatic. That's 75 combat completed, and we also got 50 points for completing a medium task. After 17kc, we finally pulled the first usable item for Jad, and that's the red dragonhide top. I was really happy to get this. 17kc took a very long time because I'm not wasting prayer pots every kill. I have to bank and get my prayer back at an altar, but man, that felt good to get a red d'hide body. Never thought I'd be so happy to see one of those. I'm now completely out of cash, completely out of runes, so if I want to get this rune crossbow, we're gonna have to go back to Revs and make some more money. Second trip to Revs turned out absolutely amazing. We got tons of Bracelets of Ethereum, and these alch for nearly 300k. On top of that, we got tons of food, tons of supplies, and overall, it was just a really good trip. Alright, we got a Fedora, 1 in 128, and at least that's a task completed. Finally, we got the Amulet of Power, and all we need now is the rune crossbow. After 50 kill count, we finally pulled the rune crossbow. I actually got so many random items, 2 red dragonhide bodies, 2 fedoras, 75 dragon arrows. I didn't even know that was on the drop table, and we actually managed to get this rune crossbow finally. This took several hours, but now that it's all done, we're good to go. Apparently putting on a rune crossbow counts for putting on a rune weapon and putting on a rune crossbow, so we also managed to get 100 league points just for getting one of these. I came to the realization that although I have all the items necessary, I still don't have any bolts, so I decided to go to the Tazars. They were my Slayer task. I camped these guys for as many kills as I had to, and eventually we did finish the Slayer task, but before I was done, we actually pulled the Obby Shield and the Obby Maul. Both of these are 100 point tasks. I can't actually wear the Obby Maul yet, but I'm going to eventually get the 60 strength required for that. But having an Obby Shield is absolutely ridiculous. The bonuses on this are pretty crazy. They're almost the same strength bonus as a Dragon Defender. Not to mention the range defense, so that's going to be extremely helpful against the level 90 Rangers while doing the fight caves. And that is 55 Slayer down. We're going to basically be doing Slayer until we have enough Slayer points in order to get some broad bolts. That way we can take out Jad with ease. Finally, the first layering key I've gotten so far on the Trailblazer leagues. I hope that I get some good loot from this. And that's 250 Slayer creatures down, another 50 league points. We ended up getting 2 layering keys from doing Wilderness Slayer, so let's go take a trip over to the Wilderness ship and see what we get. I didn't even know this was a task, but we got 50 points just for opening the Laren's chest, so it's definitely worth it. Unfortunately, we got dragon arrowheads and some coal. Both are pretty much useless. While I was at Mage Bank, I decided to stop in and complete the Mage Arena, so there we go, we finally have a God Cave. Then I charged the spell 100 times inside the arena, casted 1 spell outside to complete another 100 point task. Since I was already in Deep Wilderness, I decided that my account has progressed enough that we should go and try and take out some of these Wilderness bosses. First on the list was King Black Dragon. That was actually too easy with this range relic. I mean, I just tore that thing apart. Apparently somebody came up here and attacked Venonautus a while ago before I even got here. I had no idea, and it was full HP when I killed it. This is really something that should be looked into. I mean, I just wasted a ton of time and a ton of bolts. I guess we gotta do this again. $100 league points, 300 death runes, and now it's time to go to Callisto. Alright, seriously, who the hell is hitting all these wilderness bosses? Another hard wilderness boss down, 100 points, and we got a Dragonstone. There we go, we just took out the Chaos Fanatic. That's another medium league task completed for another 50 points. Here we go, the final wilderness boss. We ended up taking out Scorpia. Once again, another 50 league points, and that's another medium task completed. Now that we've completed a bunch of tasks and gathered a ton of league points, we can finally upgrade our relic to tier 4 and unlock a new area. This here is going to allow us to basically choose any Slayer task we want, so I'm going to be able to get these broad bolts extremely quickly. Not only that, but we're going to be getting 12 times XP instead of 8 times, so if we do manage to get this fire cape, we're going to be getting an absolute ton of Slayer XP. On top of that, we're going to be getting tons and tons and tons of range, hit points, and defense XP while we do the fight caves themselves. With my relics passive, I'm going to be able to collect 90% of the arrows that I launch, even if I don't have an Avis accumulator. So now that we have the Slayer points necessary in order to get 500 broad bolts, this should be more than enough to go through an entire fight cave. Just teleported to Kramja. We're running over to the fight caves. The gear is looking pretty good. We've got a rune full helm, an Obby shield, power ammi, rune crossbow, a ton of prayer pots. We have some basic food because we don't have any Ceradome and Brews, and even if we did, we wouldn't have super restores to heal up our stats. So I think we're doing pretty good. Stats are looking good, gear is looking alright, and we're about to get this fire cape. So yeah, we're off to a really, really good start. Now it's time for the moment of truth. 16 hours of straight grinding so I can fight a boss that I've done a million times since 2005. Oh shit, I misclicked. No way. I literally misclicked, bro. No way, I just died like that. I thought the engineer's death was bad. Oh no. Bro, I literally misclicked. And I even switched back. Dude, I had it. I was doing so good as well. I'm gonna be completely honest. I was keeping myself pretty composed on live stream, but I am completely annoyed. I'm angry. I'm going to bed. I'm done. I don't even know why I'm editing this video right now. I'm pissed. I'm going to sleep, and tomorrow, I'm gonna beat the out of Jad.